So what I'd like to do is ask both candidates to make an opening statement here. And Rob, luck of the draw. Looks like the mic is in front of you. You'll be passing it back and forth. If you could keep it to a minute and then pass it over to Maren, please.
All right. Well, good after. Is this thing on?
Yeah, turn it on.
Here. Maybe there's one little switch on there. I think you got it. Give it a shot now.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Let me help. There's always something.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rob Saka. I'm running for Seattle City Council, District 1. First off, thank you to the West Seattle Chamber. I'm excited to appear before you. Had the opportunity to meet many of you before and excited to share this space with you today. I'm a public school dad of 3, Air Force veteran, attorney, community safety advocate. I live in Delbridge with my family. My kids go to Fairmont Park Elementary. I'm the only one in this race who has actually any experience writing government policy and helping to pass law. And I've done that by serving on countless government commissions to do things like review and update the King County Constitution, select the new Seattle Police Chief, amongst other things. And I'm running to truly prioritize public safety in our city, action on homelessness, and then affordability. I am the small business candidate. I'm also the public safety candidate. Listen, I didn't win the endorsement of any of my former opponents, but I did win Mayor Bruce Harrell's endorsement and some other champions of small business like Councilmember Sarah Nelson. So thank you, honored to be here.
Thank you. If you pass that over to Maren there. Again, we're going to not applaud till the end here just so we can keep it together, but that was a good practice. Check height there. All right, Maren, if you could.
Hi, I'm Maren Costa. It's really great to be here. I look forward to hearing more from all of you. I've met some of you, would love to meet more and hear more. I've been a resident of District 1 for 21 years, Seattle for 33 years. I'm a mom, I have kids in public schools. I come out of big tech.
Keep going. Come out of big tech. Keep going. Yep.
Like just keep
Oops, did it turn off?
Yeah, well, I don't know, it's like a touch.
Yeah. Let me see if that works.
It's touchy.
Yeah.
Hold it down.
Yeah.
Oh.
So people grab it low, maybe that'd be the way to get around that. Yeah, slow and low. Yep.
So in my 20 years as a, still not on. I can shout if. Okay, I'm just gonna.
Let's roll with it. Yeah, I guess we'll lose the mics. That's all right.
Try again.
Okay.
Just keeps going.
It's really cutting out. That's annoying. Let's stop using the mics and everybody be loud. Thank you, Maren. I know you can carry one over here. Go ahead.
So in my 20 years in big tech, I gained extensive experience inside big corporations, leading big teams, solving big problems, managing million-dollar budgets, got a bunch of patents for innovation, but I got to a point where I thought, I want to make a better city for my kids. I want to see a better future for my kids. I'd rather take all of this energy and all of this brain power and turn it towards the problems that our city is facing. Was that a full minute, or was part of that mic time?
At least 15 seconds worth. Please wrap it up if there was another thing.
Seattle is one of the most progressive cities in the world, and we're failing to make progress on public safety, homelessness, and affordable housing. I want to be the candidate who can bring a plan and a way to pay for it to actually solve the problems that our city is facing.
Thank you very much for that. And I think I'll start with you on this one, Maren, seeing as how we're in front of a number of business leaders here. Let's talk about small business support. District 1 has a diverse range of small businesses. How do you plan to support and promote local entrepreneurship and economic development in the district? 1 minute, please.
So much to say here. So for starters, my twin sister lives in District 1. She's a small business owner. She employs 8 people. She has her office right behind Safeway in Jefferson Square. So I have daily contact with the struggles of being a small business, especially in today's world, in this city. So there's so much the city can do. We need to really continue subsidies for small businesses to help people get set up. We can do we can help you with insurance. We can do loans. The city could become a bank to actually offer really low interest loans. We need to make sure that we have small footprints available. The mayor's downtown activation plan, making sure we're pulling some of that throughout the whole city. And there's another important thing that I was going to say, and now it's slipping my mind. Well, anyways, there's so much that we can do, and I would definitely be a strong advocate for small businesses, because what's right for small businesses is right for the city.
Thank you. Rob, a minute, please, on small business in West Seattle. How would you support them and promote them?
Yeah, so again, I'm proud to be the small business candidate, and I'm also proud to be the public safety candidate. The number one thing that I can do as your elected council member, I view my number one responsibility, and I view that this is the responsibility that we have failed at the most recently. In large part, this is due to some failed policy decisions of this Seattle City Council. The number one thing I can do is improve the public safety situation. Make our streets and our communities safer for business owners like yourselves, your workers, your customers. And I'm proud to have earned the endorsement, and we talked at length about how we're going to do that, but I'm proud to have earned the endorsement of the Seattle Hospitality for Progress PAC, small business owners, including some folks in this room, and many organizations that trust me to take action. And I couldn't agree more on supporting the mayor's revitalization plan, and I'm proud to be the mayor's endorsed candidate in this race to work with him on that.
Thank you, Rob. Let's shift on to public safety, and I'll have you start with this question here. How can the City Council work to ensure the safety of District 1 residents while also addressing concerns related to police reform and community policing?
Well, thank you, and that
Well,
was...
let me start with Rob.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think
Go
we're
ahead.
going to get into this topic here. So
Yeah.
Rob, why don't you start there and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, it's not, so I'm here to provide a more thoughtful, balanced approach to public safety that recognizes the importance of policing and enforcement, police reform and individual officer accountability, and civilian-led responses, or alternatives to police, if you will. This city council is focused too much on kicking down the legs of that first thing that I mentioned, policing and enforcement. We need it. I'm not here to villainize or take for granted any individual or organization in the city, including our police. But we've seen time and time again that our police force needs to rebuild and reform, including by some of those insensitive, crass remarks that the officer made about Kandula's death, accidental death. So I'm here to hire more police, empower them to effectively carry out their public safety mandate, set and enforce the highest standards of excellence and professionalism in the communities where they operate, and swiftly hold them accountable if they don't do their job right.
Thank you very much. And Maren, I'll keep a closer eye. If there's a rejoinder after these 1-minute responses, put your hand up and I'll make sure you get that
Oh,
extra
yeah,
30
no, that's fine,
seconds
because
there.
we're leading right in. That was the thing
Yeah,
I was going to say.
it felt like we were in the right direction here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about public safety, maybe something that might differentiate you from your opponent.
Yeah, and that was the thing I was going to say about small businesses is one of the number one things we can do is help you guys out with vandalism and just feeling safe and making sure people feel safe to go downtown. So we need a comprehensive public safety plan, and that we can describe the problem and say, we need to hire more cops. But if we don't have a plan to how we're going to hire more cops, it's not going to happen. I have a plan. So number one, we need to turn the culture of the police department around so that people want to come to the department. When we don't protect, when we don't hold bad apples accountable, we're disrespecting the good apples. And we have way more good apples than we have bad apples. And we need to make sure that they are supported by, we are making it Seattle the best place to be a police officer. Gen X and Gen Y do not want to sign up for this job. There are ways that we can make sure that they do. We know what's important to them. They want transparency. They want diversity in their organizations. If we build a police force that can attract Gen X and Gen Y, we will actually be able to hire.
Thank you. I feel like this is one of those questions that might need an extra 30 seconds. Ron, was there anything else you wanted to add to public safety?
In terms of drawing contrasts, plan is fine, but my opponent left out conveniently that her comments on defunding the police, and more specifically, her support that she stated during the primary when she was trying to get elected and trying to earn the stranger's endorsement, that the 2020 vote to defund the police was not a mistake. At the time, I said it was a huge mistake, and I think we're living through some of the consequences of that right now. So I actually have the most comprehensive plan and the backing of people who are currently implementing this plan
Thank you.
to take it to the next level.
Thank you, Mara. I want to make sure you get a chance to respond. 30
Yeah,
seconds.
I am the public safety candidate. I have the backing from the 911 operators, the bus drivers, the people, the public safety professionals. I have the highest rating from the Alliance for Gun Responsibility. We need to have a plan. We need to have a comprehensive plan. We need to make sure that our city is safe. We need to stop worrying about special interests or egos or ideology and focus on what actually makes a city safe. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. There are several cities out in front of us. Amy Smith, that works with 911 operators, North Carolina, Durham, North Carolina is her favorite. Let's get it done.
Thank you. And I'm sorry to keep things so short on time. We are trying to cover some ground here. I appreciate it. It's fun, isn't it? All right, well, let's move on to transportation and infrastructure priorities. Traffic and transit are ongoing issues in Seattle. What specific infrastructure improvements or developments do you believe are most crucial for the residents of District 1? And how do you plan to advocate for them? What measures will you champion to improve transportation infrastructure and accessibility in District 1? Man, there's a lot going on there, but let's talk transportation. Martin, if you could, a minute.
And by the way, on the defund, just go ahead and look at my website. It's all there. I've been consistent the entire time. This is just a intentionally misrepresentative tack that my opponent is taking, and I don't want to spend any time on it, especially in this short format. So District 1 transportation and transportation as a whole. Seattle needs a connected network of transportation options, and what we tend to see is disconnected options. We have a partial bike trail, we have a partial light rail, we have bus routes that don't connect, we have, unsafe streets and sidewalks and pedestrian ways. So we need to make sure that we're building safe, convenient, connected, and accessible transportation. We know that the light rail is coming. We need to make sure that that money is actually going to get us where we want it to get us. It's a very expensive project, and we need to make sure that it serves this community if we're going to spend that money.
Thank you, Rob. A minute, if you would, on transportation.
My opponent has been doing a great job during all these candidate debates of obfuscating and confusing people about her hardcore, deeply held policy beliefs and positions. So I invite everyone to read the Seattle Times article from Daniel Beekman that was just published yesterday. It was one of the most unvarnished candid takes. You can see in there, black and white, exactly where we each stand on the issues. Facts. Transportation.
Let's do it.
I'm here to focus on the basics of what I think a well-functioning city government can and should be delivering for folks. And I call it the 3 Ps: public safety, public parks, and public infrastructure, public works. I've knocked on thousands of doors, had the pleasure, and in fact, just having some informal side chats with many of you all at your doors. And I've learned there's a huge need. It's not sexy, but I'm telling you, there's a need for sidewalks infrastructure in this city. Areas from Arbor Heights to Del Ridge, particularly east of Del Ridge, South Park, there's so many neighborhoods that are underserved with sidewalks. I'm going to focus on that with the next move levy and also bridge maintenance and repair.
Thank you very much for that. Martin, I'm going to move on to another question if I could here. But how about this? I'll let you start with this one, Rob. So in September, the Seattle City Council, which is with a 6-3 vote, aligned the city's municipal code with a new 2023 state law that classifies public drug use and possession as gross misdemeanors and empowers the city attorney's office to prosecute these offenses. How do you think this will impact West Seattle as part of District 1, which now includes Soto and Pioneer Square?
Yeah, so let me be crystal clear. Yes, I support that law. Yes, I support that law. I strongly support it. Not only that, I led and organized a signature gathering effort on the campaign trail, collected hundreds of signatures. Then I took the extra step of going down to Seattle City Hall on its final crucial vote and testifying in favor of it. So yes, I support it. It's going to impact, it's going to benefit all people. I've been telling people, as a dad of 3 young kids, when I go downtown or when I go to the junction to visit some small businesses with my family, we shouldn't have to be doing obstacle courses over people and paraphernalia. And similarly, people suffering from debilitating drug dependency issues should come to expect better from their city. That we're going to create an option. Creates an option, doesn't require, creates an option to prosecute people for open public drug use. You hear harsh rhetoric about war on drugs and all. It's not true. We're adopting existing state law. And yes, I support it.
Thank you. Maren, some thoughts about this drug issue that we're clearly having across the city and how you respond to it in District 1 with this new law on the books from the Seattle City Council.
Yeah, I think the law is great. Let's align with the state. I don't care about that. What I care about is that this was totally performative. We do not have a solution here. They're going to make you feel like there was a solution. There is no solution. If you're someone who wants to lock people with a substance use disorder up in jail, that's not going to happen because we don't have enough officers to bother picking them up. The courts are backed up and the jails are understaffed and full. If you're someone who wants to give treatment to people with substance disorder, that's also not going to happen because we're not funding the diversion treatments and diversion plans that we need. So this was a performative law. And to spend time gathering signatures to have Lisa Herbold, push through the law that she herself was sponsoring, to go down and talk at City Council, this is great, but the whole thing was performative. This is exactly what we need to get away from as a City Council. We need to get things done and have a way to actually get them done. So until I see money in the budget that will actually support this plan, it's a non-plan.
Got it. 30 seconds, Rob, to rejoinder.
She mentioned Councilmember Herbold, who, yes, did sponsor this. And she voted for it. And think what you will about Councilmember Herbold. She's not on the ballot. But my opponent just got done saying she does not support this bill. So where does that leave her? Look, is this bill perfect? No. Should we look for opportunities to find more funding mechanisms for treatment? Yes. But I am not here to let the perfection be the enemy of any progress. My opponent opposes it without any plan whatsoever to prevent the dozens more fentanyl overdose deaths that we can expect before the end of the year.
Thank you, Rob. I want to make sure you get a response. 30 seconds, Maren.
Well, that's exactly what I didn't say. I did not say that I am against this bill, and I did not say that I don't have a plan. The whole point is that we need to have a plan, or nothing will get done. That's the problem. Now, the plan comes with funding solutions. We can build more jails. We definitely need to hire more police. We can build build and create more diversion plans and more mental health beds. But until we fund one or the other of those plans, this bill is meaningless.
Thank you.
I'm here to plan and fund a plan, to get behind, and I would prefer evidence largely supports diversion as being more successful. If the data says putting people in jail is going to be cheaper and faster and better, let's do that.
Thank you. I want to make sure we give the proper time here. We're getting towards the end of our half hour, unfortunately, but I want to make sure that we talk about affordable housing and homelessness as well. I know that's a lot to jam in, but we're talking about a District 1 that within the comprehensive plan shows a lot of displacement potentially in this area within the next few years, people who can't afford to live here essentially. I'd like you to touch on that and maybe some of the larger homeless issues you've seen around D1 and how you'd like to respond to them. Maren, can I start with you for a minute and then I'll go to you, Rob.
Homelessness is huge. Obviously, we know we need to build more housing of all types. We need emergency housing, we need semi-supportive housing, we need permanent supportive housing, we need tiny home villages, we need million-dollar condos because supply will just help bring the cost down. We need to make sure people are not being displaced. We have people in D1 that are already feeling the burden of property taxes and like trying to age in place and they can't afford to pay their property taxes. As a city, we're loading everything onto sort of the middle class and lower, and that's hitting us hard. And we need to make sure that when we raise progressive revenue, we are making sure that everyone's paying their fair share. We have the poorest among us paying more than their fair share and the richest among us paying less than their fair share just because we have an upside down tax code at a state level. It's very hard to get that progressive revenue, but we're a big city with big problems that needs the funding, and we're going to need to make sure we raise progressive revenue or it will end up as more property taxes for all of us.
Got it. Maren was touching on a lot of issues there, including some revenue. Can you talk to us, Rob, please, about affordable housing and homelessness and some of your thoughts there?
Yeah, so I think we need to do a better job of addressing, and it sounds like me and my opponent agree on what I'm about to say. We need to do a better job of addressing some of the root causes of homelessness, addressing the systemic issues. The number one issue is poverty and more specifically lack of access to affordable housing. So we need to build and fund the development of building low income and focusing our efforts from a city investment perspective on low income and middle income workforce housing, if you will, as well. Need to make it easier to build and by accelerating the permitting process and removing a lot of the red tape. It's great for developers and great for residents who maybe want to build an ADU in their backyard. But here's where we start to diverge. We're not going to root cause only our way out of this challenge. Root causes are great for addressing the situation tomorrow. Once people are unhoused today, we need to do a better job of connecting them with shelter and services. And unlike my opponent who says she doesn't support any circumstances where we take people off the street and connect them with shelter and services, I do support encampment cleanups. We need to do better for our unhoused neighbors. Tiny homes, hotel spaces, RV safe lots. We need some congregate housing options as well. There's not just one thing.
Okay, Maren feels like that was a direct broadside, so 30 seconds, please.
Yeah, that's a twist of words to say that I don't support cleaning up encampments and connecting people with services. So that's exactly what I do support, is cleaning up encampments and connecting people with resources. What we're doing right now is cleaning up encampments and pushing them over so that they pop up somewhere else. That's expensive and ineffective and inhumane. We actually do need to clean up encampments because it's not okay for us to have people in our parks and on our streets. It's not okay for us, and it's not okay for them, and it's not okay for small businesses. But the way to do that is to connect people to services, not to keep sweeping it down the road.
30 seconds, Rob.
That's what we're doing today. One, it's the right thing to do. Two, it's the constitutional thing to do. There's a Boise case arising out of the Ninth Circuit. It says you can't just uproot people and sweep them off without offering them a place to go. We're doing that today, folks. So, obfuscation aside, I'm here to center common sense and doing better for our unhoused and unsheltered neighbors.
Thank you. And I thank the West Seattle Chamber members for coming up with some great questions here. Now we're moving on to the very important lightning round, which I know both of you love to pieces. So, Rob, I'll start with you here. This might be a one-person answer, or one-word answer. Dog or cat person? What do you got?
Dog.
Dog. Maren?
Oh, that's so hard, dog.
She's going with dog. All right, fair enough. Maren, I'm starting with you. Pineapple on pizza.
Absolutely.
Rob?
Not personally, but
Oh, here we go.
to each their own.
It's all coming out. It's all coming out.
Yeah.
Rob, describe yourself as introverted or extroverted.
I'm a natural introvert, but because of life experiences, been conditioned to be an extrovert. So both.
All right, fair enough. Maren, what do you got?
That's the same.
Okay, all right, interesting. Maren, which do you prefer, the Olympic Mountains or the Cascades?
Olympics.
Okay.
Cascades.
Okay, a West Side, East Side thing. I love it. All right, Rob, with you, favorite book?
Ooh. Probably, I think it's called Your Very Best. It's by Coach Wooden, John Wooden, from UCLA. It's all about, well, just look it up. I mean, it's a short answer, but.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
Favorite book, Maren, what do you got?
That's so hard, but somebody was asking me this the other day, and the one that came to mind was The Overstory. It's just a beautifully written book, and it's about trees. And you'll literally, I think every one of you will want to go hug a tree after you read that book.
Okay, all right, then we'll see how this goes here. All right, here comes the crazy one, astrological sign. Maren, what do we got?
Scorpio.
Okay, Rob?
I'm told I'm an Aquarius.
Okay.
Whatever that's worth.
Can we give our both of our candidates a big round of applause here? I'd like to give them time for a closing statement if I could. Rob, let's do that closing statement real quick. Rob, I'm going to give you a minute, and then Maren, I'll give you the last word. 1 minute, please, Rob.
Sure. Look, Seattle is at a crossroads. And we can elect more of the same, or we can choose a new, better, more collaborative approach. You guys all represent small businesses. I'm not here to take any small business, organization, or individual for granted. We villainized too many people and organizations in the past. Unlike my opponent, I've been entirely consistent this whole time on all the issues that matter the most. I'm here to do better for the city. We don't need another inconsistent, unreliable council member with a megaphone. The city deserves better. You all deserve better. Proud to have been endorsed by Mayor Bruce Harrell, Councilmember Sarah Nelson, tireless champions, proven leaders for small business. And I would love, love, love to work with them to better help and serve you all. I ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Lauren, 1 minute, please.
So I prefer to describe myself instead of having someone else describe me. I don't know, I come out of big business. I have learned and dyed in the wool in corporate America, like it or not. So that makes me very different than our current council member, and it makes me very different than the way my opponent tries to describe me. Amazon was formative for me. In particular, I love their culture. The leadership principles are amazing. You could take them anywhere. Frugality, dive deep, think big, innovate and simplify. These are the things that I would bring to the city council. I'm also endorsed by all 6 of my former opponents, so Phil Tavel, Preston Anderson, Stephen Brown. And I think what they saw in me is someone who, even if you don't agree eye to eye, we can work together. We can get things done, we can solve problems because we're focused on solving the problems, not on grandstanding or ideology or divisiveness. So I hope to earn your votes and I hope to serve you in City Hall.
Thank you. One more round of applause for our candidates, please. Thank you. Now I'm going to invite you to exit the stage here as we bring up our next round of candidates.